By the mid-2030s, I believe we can send humans to orbit Mars and return them safely to Earth. And a landing on Mars will follow. And I expect to be around to see it.
Booster ignition and the final liftoff of Discovery, a tribute to the dedication, hard work, and pride of America's space shuttle team. The shuttle has cleared the tower.
Roger, Discovery. This is Mission Control in Houston. The space shuttle now rolling over onto its back.
And here is something which no one guessed would exist on Mars at all. This is one of hundreds of little channels. This is actually not so little. This is a few hundred miles long. Channels which look for all the world as if they've been cut by running water. Here's a close-up of the inside of one of those channels, and it has the characteristic patterns of terrestrial stream beds. The trouble is there isn't any liquid water on Mars. The pressure on Mars is so small that it can't keep a lid on liquid water. If this is due to running water on Mars, it must have been made at a time when the Martian climate was very different from what it is today, at a time when Mars had much more Earth-like conditions.
At the dawn of the 21st century, space agencies in Europe and America began making plans to land the first humans on Mars. Manned missions to the Red Planet had been proposed before. For some, Mars holds the answers to mankind's future in space. Others argue that Mars is too far, too dangerous, and too expensive for humans to explore. In a world torn by troubles, some question the need or will for mankind to reach into space anymore. More than 30 years after the last Apollo astronaut walked on the moon, the American manned space program seems to have lost its way, unable to reach beyond even low Earth orbit.
We've got a problem. NASA has been literally going around in circles with its space program for the past 30 years.
Astronautical engineer Dr. Robert Zubrin has been arguing for years that sending humans to Mars is the mission the space program needs.
It's time that we set goals for NASA.
Having been literally going around in circles with its space program for the past 30 years. Astronautical engineer Dr. Robert Zubrin has been arguing for years that sending humans to Mars is the mission the space program needs. It's time that we set goals for NASA that are worthy of the risks of human spaceflight. Mars is the next logical step in our space program. It's the challenge that has been staring us in the face for the past 30 years. It's the planet that's most like Earth. It has the resources needed to support life and, therefore, someday, a technological civilization. It's the planet that will provide us with the answer as to whether life is prevalent in the universe or exclusive to Earth. And it's the planet...
We also know from Mars Odyssey that we have two kinds of frost. We can observe water frost in many other locations than what Viking observed, but also CO2 frost, something that we don't have on Earth. It is extremely cold where you'll find CO2 ice, something like minus 190 degrees Fahrenheit. The CO2 ice does not melt. Instead, it goes back from solid to gas directly in the atmosphere. That leads to the formation of really unique surface features. For example, we see spider-shaped features, fans, geysers, Dalmatian spots, fried eggs, all kinds of unique objects that are really challenging to understand, but that are beautiful and unique to Mars. A few things. First, the Phoenix lander, a NASA mission that arrived at Mars in 2008, observed beautiful frost landscapes that formed around it. The Phoenix lander had a LiDAR. This is an instrument that shoots a laser up, and if there's a cloud or something that's falling down from the sky, like snow, you get a return. Basically, you light up the sky. And the Phoenix lander was also able to scratch the surface and for the first time see this water ice just below the ground. This is the kind of water ice that astronauts could potentially use in the future when we go there.
At first, it would be simple organisms, perhaps genetically engineered, that would thrive in the Martian environment. Then more complex plants could be introduced. The plants would be right at home in the carbon dioxide atmosphere, and with no competition and a whole planet to cover, they could transform Mars into a green world. Warming Mars so that it sustains life is rapid, but then the slow process of making the atmosphere breathable for humans and animals starts, and that's done by plants. Although the process will happen naturally, if the colonists can't find a quicker way, it will take tens of thousands of years. This is a philosophical debate. Many people think the universe has a big sign on it that says, "Do not touch, leave it alone." It was made this way, it is not in our purview as human beings to change anything. I can respect that view, although I disagree with it. I think the universe has a big sign on it that says, "Go forth and spread life." Because when I look around the universe, I think life is the most amazing thing we see. It is just incredible, and we human beings are uniquely positioned to help spread life from this little tiny planet, which it seems to have been started on, beyond. And that's our gift. Earth's gift to the universe, I think, is the gift of life.
The greatest value that we got out of Apollo was the creation of intellectual capital through the inspiring of millions to go into science and engineering to be part of the great adventure of human expansion into space.
There's a phrase that happened with the Apollo program, which was, if we can go to the moon, we can, and then everybody's filled in whatever they were interested in. Build mass transit, cure cancer, do this, do that. The point is, it did give us a sense that we could accomplish great things. It did bring out the best of us.
We excited a generation of engineers and scientists. The generation that built the computers and cell phones and all the technology everybody uses today and takes for granted.
If we set humans to Mars as our goal, we'll get millions of new scientists that will create new inventions, new industries. This is the enormous payback, and we can get it if we set the kind of challenge that will inspire the youth.
To Zubrin, civilizations, like people, thrive on challenge and decay without it.
We have everything we have today because of our predecessors who had the courage to leave the world of the known and go out into the wilderness and build new cities. And if we stop being people like that, then we will hand down much less to our posterity than our ancestors handed down to us. So there's the choice in life. One either grows or one decays. Grow or die. I think we should grow.
For a start, we did all our research, we did all the AVAs, we collected the samples, we took the pictures, we described in our words how the Martian surface might look like for the school back in New Zealand. We interacted every day with them through Carter Observatory, so I think it was a very, very successful mission. But it depends on what objectives you got by coming here, and every single organization sending people here has a different agenda. So, I reckon it's exactly as you would go to any camp, any other camp. Just the uniqueness of this place is that it's insisting on keeping people in sim, and as I said, the sim is as real as you can have it. I'm happy. I don't care if this is made of titanium alloy or of wood. What I care about is what you get out of it. So, it's mission accomplished for Kiwi Mars 2012. Mars, often referred to as the red planet, is the fourth planet from the Sun in our solar system. It is a terrestrial planet, meaning it has a rocky surface like Earth. Mars is known for its reddish hue, which is due to the presence of iron oxide on its surface. Mars has been a subject of fascination for centuries, and the exploration of this planet has been a significant endeavor for scientists and space agencies. The first successful mission to Mars was the Mariner 4 spacecraft, which flew by the planet in 1965. Since then, numerous spacecraft have been sent to Mars to study its surface, atmosphere, and potential for past or present life. One of the most significant discoveries about Mars was the detection of liquid water on its surface. In 2015, NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, MRO, discovered recurring slope lineae, RSLs, which are dark streaks that appear and disappear on Martian slopes. These RSLs are believed to be evidence of flowing liquid water, albeit salty and highly concentrated. This discovery has reignited hopes of finding extraterrestrial life on Mars. In recent years, there has been a surge of interest in sending humans to Mars. Several space agencies, including NASA, ESA, and Roscosmos, have announced plans for manned missions to the Red Planet. The goal of these missions is to explore Mars further, establish a human presence, and potentially colonize the planet in the future. Mars is a fascinating planet with a rich history of exploration. The discovery of liquid water on its surface has significantly increased interest in the possibility of life on Mars. As technology advances, human missions to Mars are becoming increasingly feasible, and the future of Mars exploration looks promising.